Hey everyone, my name's Kevin. I'm a project analyst here at Lloyd, and I've been with the company for about 2 years now. My story is a weird one. I started doing engineering in college, and then I took a look at my schedule for the next semester, and there were about 6 or 7 math courses and math history courses and things like that, just a lot of riveting stuff. And I think my advisor could see, while I was looking at the paper, that my will to live was starting to wilt a little bit. And so she said to me, you're doing pretty well in some of the computer classes that you've taken in the past. Why don't you consider doing that as a major instead? I thought that's not such a bad idea. So I ran over to the computer sciences division of my school. I was lucky enough to bump into the CTO when he was coming out of his office. I never met him before, but I recognized him from pictures and things like that. I said he's a good person to talk to. So I had a really nice long chat with him. And later that same afternoon, I switched my major over to computer science. And then, all the normal boring stuff from there. Got an internship, got a job, wanted a better job, so I came over here. What have I learned as a project analyst here at Lloyd? It's a really, really long list, so I'm not going to bore you guys too much. I think the two most important ones are organization and people skills. Throughout most of my life, especially as a student, I was super unorganized. I did a lot of things by the fly. Can't afford to do that anymore, so I've really had to bunker down and just figure out scheduling and things like that. It makes everything so much easier. I wish I did it before. I bet my parents wish I did too. And so I've learned that. I think that's a super important skill. I think and then another skill I learned is sort of communication and people skills. I think that's equally as important. Everyone speaks differently, everyone thinks differently, and everyone works differently. So I think it's really important to get a gauge of how someone works. Some people like to joke around and have fun. Some people just like to get right to it and sort of resolve the issue. Once you get a good idea of how that person works and how their brain works, it'll be a much nicer experience for the both of you. Work from home tip. I'm trying to think of one that you guys wouldn't have heard too often. I think it's really important to separate work from home if you can, especially location-wise. So I don't like to sit in the same room every day and just keep doing what I'm doing. Then when I'm done for the day, you end up staying in the room. I think it's just not good to lock yourself in like that. So if you can afford to, go to a park and take a call from there, or take a conference call on next to your pool if you have one. I've seen people do that. I've even seen some people take calls from the beach. I don't want to rat anyone out, but I think that's a genius idea. It's really good for productivity, creativity, and for mental health. So if you can get out a little bit and work from anywhere if you can. I know a lot of us are stuck inside all day, so it's a little hard, but if you can find a nice quiet place to work that you're not going to spend all day in, but you can sort of like a change in scenery, I think that's super beneficial, and I think it works wonders. So Lloyd has 3 core values: to be human, to be accountable, and to be better. I think being human is really self-explanatory. We're not robots. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has good days and bad days. Just because someone has a bad day doesn't mean it's not the end of the world. Maybe there's a good day right around the corner. But it's always really important to keep that in mind. And then there's being accountable. I think being accountable is really important. It basically means, to me, owning up to your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, no matter what you do. So I make mistakes all the time. But the most important part is to accept the mistakes so that you can start working towards a solution. That's always the first step. And then the third value is to be better. Being better doesn't mean being the best. It just means being better than you were before and learning from the mistakes that we talked about, and growing from there. I think it was the Great British Bake Off that said you can't always be the best, but you can always be your best. Hopefully they don't see this later in the season. Fun fact that others might not know about me. I was going to go with the fact that I can burp the alphabet, but I think I'm going to save you guys from that. And I'm going to go with a safer answer. I'm really into drawing, and I was even thinking about going to art school when I was younger. I took a couple college art classes and things like that until I went to visit the schools, and then it became clear that wasn't really my scene, which teachers were very glad to let me know once they got a good look at me too every time I walk into the classroom. So I stuck with art as a hobby, and I think I made the right choice there.